Welcome to this lesson on the personalization principle. This is an exciting topic in which you will learn how to make your e-learning more personal in order to increase the effectiveness of your lessons.
Are you bored yet? I would be if that was an e-learning lesson I was participating in. Hi, my name's Lauren Silverman, and today I'm going to talk to you about the personalization principle. Are you willing to make your lessons a little more personal? Doing so can take your good e-learning lessons to great e-learning lessons. So today I'll give you a few tips and tricks on how to do that.
Today we're going to talk about what the personalization principle is and how you can use it to enhance your e-learning lessons. Who remembers this scene from Ferris Bueller's Day Off? I think we all can relate to being in a classroom with a teacher who's so monotonous that we just can't wait until the class ends. Well, with e-learning, it can be even worse because sometimes there's no audio at all and there's just text to stare at, which really doesn't engage the learners. So by personalizing your material, you want to make it so that the learners can relate to the character that's talking to them and that they feel compelled to actually learn the material. Research shows that people feel more compelled to interact and engage with a lesson if it's personally directed at them, meaning that even if their lesson's coming from an inanimate object like a computer, if it sounds like it's coming from a person and someone's talking directly to them, they'll feel the need to respond and interact like they would if they were having a real conversation. So what does that mean for you? Well, that means that when you're creating e-learning lessons, what you'll want to do is make sure that you include audio along with any text. People tend to grasp concepts better if they read something, but if they're also hearing someone explain it. Another tip that you can use is incorporate informal language as if you were talking to a friend. And finally, you want to make sure there's some kind of character involved. You can have a person, or you can just have that person narrating. You want to make sure it's a conversational tone. So now that we've talked a little bit about what the personalization principle is about, let's see if you guys can give it a try. Let's take a look at that first slide that started out this presentation. Take a look at it, and why don't you think about what you would do to personalize it and make it more engaging to the audience? Okay, time's up. Let's see what you came up with. If you said something like, maybe you'd add a character to the screen to make it look like there's a person telling them about the principle, that would have been a great idea. Maybe you would have just added some audio to the slide, which would have been good as well. And finally, maybe you would have changed the language that was used in the slide to make it a little more inclusive. You might have used words like we, I, and you. So if you said any of those things, great job. You're definitely on the right track to personalizing your presentations. So today we talked about the personalization principle and how it can effectively increase the engagement of your audience. So to do that, the things you want to remember in the future are to use informal language like you, we, and I when you're talking to your audience. You want to make sure you include audio along with your text. And keep the tone conversational and not so formal so that the audience feels engaged by you and wants to connect to the material that you're presenting. If you do these things, you're on a great start to engaging your audience by using the personalization principle.
So I hope you were able to learn a little something about the personalization principle, and perhaps maybe it'll just spark your interest to learn a little more. There's plenty of stuff out there online, and maybe you can use some of the things we talked about to enhance your future presentations. Thanks again.